Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea from Psych2Go. What if you could seriously transform your emotional well-being? Not with some huge life overhaul, but just by tweaking your daily habits? Yeah, let's see how that's done.
So let's start with a really direct question. Just think about it for a second. Your daily routine, is it actually helping you or is it kind of hurting you? Our habits can be our biggest superpower or our biggest roadblock when it comes to mental health. So let's take an honest look.
Look, we all have habits that are just mentally draining. We know it. But instead of just giving you a random list of good habits, we're going to build something better. We're going to create a simple, three-part framework you can actually use to build a routine that feels good.
Okay, part one. It's all about building a strong foundation. And guess what? That starts with your body. The mind-body connection is so real, and we're about to see just how powerful it is.
So, this first habit is so simple you can literally do it with me right now. Go on, check your posture. Are you slouching over your phone or computer? I know I was. Just try sitting up a little straighter. You might be shocked at the little mood lift you get from just that.
And this isn't just some feel-good advice, okay? It's backed by science. A study actually found that changing your posture can boost positive feelings and cut down on fatigue. How wild is that? Such a small, tiny change with a potentially huge payoff.
Of course, posture is just one piece of this puzzle. To really build that solid foundation, you've also got to think about sleep, exercise, and what you're eating. All three of these work together to keep your body and your mind running smoothly.
So, a good way to think about it is like a chair with four legs. You've got posture, sleep, exercise, and diet. If one of those legs gets wobbly, the whole chair is unstable, right? But if you keep all four strong, you have a really solid base to support your emotional well-being.
All right, now that we've got our foundation set, let's move on to part two, mastering your inner world. This is where we learn how to handle that tricky landscape of our own thoughts and feelings.
You know, the first step to mastering your inner world is just admitting what you're feeling. It is so tempting to just push down the hard stuff like anger or sadness. But here's the secret. Those emotions don't just vanish. They just simmer right below the surface, waiting to boil over.
And the consequences of ignoring all that anger? Well, they can be devastating. According to Dr. Schinnerer, an anger management coach, it's linked to everything from obesity and low self-esteem to migraines and even an increased risk of heart attack. This is really serious stuff.
The source material gives us this perfect metaphor, the anger volcano. It all starts with some small trigger, right? Then the pressure just builds and builds and builds until, bam! The whole thing erupts into a fiery mess. But if you can learn to just acknowledge the feeling early on, you can prevent that eruption from ever happening.
This next habit is all about creating a little space between a feeling and your reaction. The source tells this hilarious story about a woman who thought her friend was offering her a snack, but she was actually talking about her dead goldfish named Crackers. It's such a perfect example of how our emotions can make us totally misread a situation. The lesson is simple. Just pause. Take a beat before you react.
So, to recap, our inner world toolkit has three essential things: acknowledge, pause, and presence. You can even think of it as the APP for a happier mind. Acknowledge what you feel, pause before you act, and be present in the moment. Simple, but so powerful.
And that brings us to our final section, connecting with the outer world. Now that we've shored up our bodies and our minds, it's time to look at how we actually interact with the world around us.
We are social creatures, pure and simple. We need connection to thrive. In fact, a study by the National Institutes of Health found that people with strong social connections are 50%, that's 50, more likely to live longer. That is a massive difference.
Of course, connecting with the world also means knowing when you need to disconnect. And self-care does not have to be this huge, complicated thing. Just try this with me. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, and then slowly let it out through your mouth. Do that a couple of times. You can feel your whole body start to relax. It really is that simple.
Social media. It can be such a double-edged sword, can't it? On one hand, it's so easy to get sucked into mindless scrolling and comparing yourself to others. But on the other, it can be an amazing tool for connection. The key is to be intentional. Instead of scrolling for hours, maybe just set aside a few minutes to actually connect with friends or share a laugh. That makes all the difference. So, let's recap our 3 habits for connecting with the outer world. Socialize, practice self-care,
and be smart about your social media use. Sounds pretty simple when you put it like that, right? But these 3 can make a world of difference for your well-being.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground today. Everything from the importance of good posture to the power of a single deep breath. So now, let's bring it all together and see how these habits fit into that awesome 3-part framework for well-being we talked about.
And there it is. This is what it all boils down to, this holistic approach. Think of it like a 3-legged stool. If any one of the legs is weak, the whole thing gets wobbly. But if you keep all 3 legs strong, your body's foundation, your inner world, and your outer world, you'll have a stable, balanced foundation for a happy and healthy life.
Look, knowing all this stuff is great, but knowledge is only powerful if you actually use it. So as we wrap up, I just want you to think about one thing. What's one small change you can make today to improve your well-being? It could be as simple as sitting up straight right now, or taking that deep breath, or texting a friend. Whatever it is, I really encourage you to just do it. You've totally got this.